like that.
And again,
they
that
can
was
definitely pick it up.
And again, that was reflected at Rift Rivals when these two teams played. That was a very dominating victory for KT. They're back on the blue side because IG with side selection picked red. TheShy stays in, so I imagine it's still about counter picks. We'll see if the ban strategy changes from KT, who did open with that Aatrox and then ended up getting punished by not banning Camille. They make that adjustment very early.
Yeah, they got a little bit more respect for Ning after that one. Pretty well played in the team fights as well, even without a successful early game on the champion, which normally she does rely pretty heavily on. Here we go, though. This is going to be round number 2. What did KT Rolster prioritize this time? I doubt it will be the Aatrox. Urgot definitely proved to be much easier to execute for team fights, much easier to kind of build a fight around as well because he does get so tanky.
And we'll see if IG just opt into the reverse matchup here, because TheShy definitely can play the Aatrox side as well. The Rakan engage was so punishing for KT, who uncharacteristically were trying to juggle too many things at the same time, really lost that game 1 through trying to take Rift Herald with score, while the rest of the members went aggressive in the mid lane. The Rakan part is going to continue. Xayah Rakan available. Was put together over the course of 2 rounds on the red side. We'll see if they take a jungle pick earlier.
Yeah, it's not like the draft from KT Rolster just never made sense from the beginning. I mean, the team was off to a 2,000 gold lead early. It was just some misexecution, some miscommunications as the game went on that allowed IG to strike back and strike back hard. And with that Camille banned out by KT Rolster, they make sure that they get Ning one of his other big picks in the Zin.
That's right. Zin's out definitely also very fearsome and can go for the early duels. One thing that we didn't necessarily highlight in the last game is that unlike Camille, who can also hookshot to escape and get out of bad positioning that he's got himself into, the Xin Zhao does not have his own escape. He would have to charge to a minion or something else to try and get out of that. So it definitely does have the possibility of also being punished.
And while we see the AD carry be the same this time around for KT and locking in the Kaisa, they're going to get the Leona. They're on the support. We often see this as a counter pick to Rakan. They already saw that locked in for IG, of course. This means that IG is going to get the Lovers bot lane yet again.
But I'm so interested to see where score will go in terms of jungle pool, because we're getting pinched and then pinched harder with a Skarner ban. Not many champions can skirmish against a Xin Zhao 1v1 or 2v2. Do you just vacate it completely and go a different approach, take a Gragas and try to avoid the Xin Zhao, or do we see something new come out from the side of score? Is very intriguing. Only going to be a single jungle ban. It will be the Syndra second ban by IG.
And again, we're closing in on the mid lane champion pool as well, similar to last time. The LeBlanc and Syndra both banned out. I think that they do kind of, as we've already seen, want to play these champions that can really enable the rest of the team.
And will that enabling champion be a Galio for Rookie? Because when TheShy is in the team, they sometimes will leave him the last pick and thus go for a more early champion like the Galio we saw from Ucal in Game 1. They've got Rakan and Xin Zhao, who are great enablers here. Not necessarily the prototypical champion for Rookie, and it looks like they might be going for a flex Aatrox instead.
Or they could go for that Galio. Invictus Gaming
fit.
back and forth. Yes, the Galio is going to be swooped up. The Lissandra from last game had been banned, so they're like, all right, you ban our pick, we're going to take yours.
All right. And we should also highlight that Aurelia, by the way, the ban that was left out to put the Camille ban in there, it's gone all the way through the entire draft for both of these teams. Not willing to go early in on that one. KT Rolster could very well do the double solo lane of Urgot and Aatrox. But again, we've seen a lot of successful uses from Ucal on the Swain, already here at Worlds.
I do wonder what the jungle mid duo will be, though. I was thinking maybe something like Galio Kha'Zix, very risky, but a possibility, an old favorite of Score and Ucal. They've taken the Swain, we're thinking for mid lane. Again, you can consider the Gragas. It is a legacy pick for Score, one of the great Gragas players. His last Worlds was a quarterfinal exit where he played fantastic on Gragas, but wasn't enough to get them over the line over the Ku Tigers at the time. With the clock ticking down, they actually are going to make a flip.
Ooh, what the Gragas could have done would be provide them with something that they were missing last time, which would be a lot easier engage, body slam flash into the ultimate. They still have Leona, so there is a remnant of that. But the long-range ultimate isn't just going to be enough for them. And, the Kindred very early on does have the possibility of, you know, collecting up the marks and everything, but Zhao can just charge right into him and try and control early.
And once again, pretty hard to execute team comp coming out from KT. We were able to see Score skip around on the edges of team fights in his last Kindred game, but it was a loss in the second round for KT Rolster against EDG. IG have pretty easy to execute, and while TheShy is not on a carry, he can definitely sustain through lane against the Urgot.
Now, Kindred does scale super well, but the early pathing is very important. So keep your eyes on those winning lanes and definitely make sure that he's not face checking into any of those brush.
And if Invictus Gaming get themselves ahead, if they're able to find some of those mid-game team fights like last time around, you've got a couple big meatballs in front of the carries. You've got a Galio, you've got a Sion, you've got a composition that's very scary to try to run into and very scary to try to play into, especially from behind.
The identity of KT is pretty similar, all things considered, to their Game 1 draft. It's still about tempo, it's still about controlling the map and having the enemy mis-execute on an engage and then turning the tables on them. But if they fall away, if they make those mid-game mistakes, I think IG punish them just as easily as they did in game number 1.
I think that there is more weight on JackeyLove's shoulders in this game, though. So much of the last game was a lot about TheShy and Rookie big plays to get them that gold lead and secure a strong team fight for them. But this time around, JackeyLove is definitely going to have to pull his weight.
We'll see what he can do on that Xayah, along with the Rakan in the bottom lane. Remember, in game number 1, it was that bottom lane play with the teleport as well as the gank coming in from the jungler that got KT on the board. We'll see how wise IG is for those kinds of tricks as we head on to Summoner's Rift for game number 2. IG currently sitting at a 1-game lead over KT Rolster in this best of 5 as we get out onto the Rift.
Fan chants are deafening as always, and we always have to remember that KT Rolster roller coaster has to go up, it has to go down. There is always...
What kind of a roller coaster would...
Exactly. It'd be a pretty crappy roller coaster.
Yeah.
So far, we've had the sheer drop, let's say, after a nice early game.
That's my favorite part, PapaSmithy.
Yeah.
Well, the sheer drop, if that's the entire ride, would be a 3-0 for IG. And after game number 1, people are starting to wonder. And with this draft, let's see if KT can shake off the second half of game number 1, but maybe try to recreate the first half where they did come to a very smart early lead.
Both mid laners going to be running Aftershock this time around, so plenty of tankiness for both of these mages. We'll see how that works out for them, as looks like nobody wants to really invade just yet. If you see any kind of level 1 fights, they will be on a delay, as is pretty normal these days.
Very interesting to see a Swain take Aftershock, because defense tree Swain is what Ucal's done twice. It was, of course, Grasp for the auto attacks. Now, Grasp trades against Galio not going to be massive, but the Aftershock's a lot more conditional on a champion like Swain.
Yeah, it is fairly difficult to proc sometimes. I mean, if you are going to miss your crowd control, then you're going to be in a bad spot in that trade anyways, and this kind of emphasizes that. One thing about the Grass Swain as well, that had risen to prominence in Korean solo queue, even in North American high elo solo queue, we started to see a lot of them as well, getting a lot more health, getting a lot more tanky, so that would definitely be the norm, and this is an aberration.
And I think about this one in terms of, okay, team fight, it's going to be really valuable. If you're in the middle of a fight, which is exactly what IG have, you're going to proc that the Aftershock onto somebody, just the reality of all being grouped, as Score and Ning might be meeting at this Scuttle Crab.
Score taking that usual path you guys talked about of the blue side jungler going towards the bottom lane, and now it's going to be a massive 3v3. Mata in some trouble, taken down below half HP. JackeyLove also going to be taken very low, getting the first blood, but also being picked up. Ucal makes the rotation down towards the fight first. Score flashing over the wall, chasing down Baolan. One more auto attack might be able to do it, but Ucal's not able to find the CC for himself.
He's coming.
That means no Aftershock. Score needs a little bit more damage. He smites the minion, but that's not a heal. Rookie tries to escape. Deft's coming around for some more damage, but IG has made themselves a superior fight.
Ucal missing all of the grass right there. You can't take Aftershock and also do that.
No.
We had an early roam, but, you know, in the aftermath there, we do have IG coming out on top, still getting the Scuttle Crab, still getting the vision, and the extra kill.
And that's so important for IG to ride the momentum of their Game 1 victory into this play. Really extended fight where KT, the trading places that happened to kill JackeyLove, ends up being costly.
All right, focus fire is of the utmost importance in early level team fighting. Both teams pick their target and they're able to finish it off. In the follow-up here, though, we had both the mid laners trailing down through the river. Deft tries to cut off Rookie. He comes a little bit later, but Baolan also stuck around on Rakan at low health, goes in with Ning to secure the last kill there, and then Ucal flashes in with the miss.
And my eyes are on how Ucal backs up what was very obviously a howler in that extended skirmish. Remember, this guy is the youngest player at Worlds. He's been uncharacteristically stable for a mid laner, especially a rookie mid laner. But in a scenario like this, where suddenly the momentum is heavily away from his team in elimination best of 5, the heat is back on Captain Flowers, and we're going to have to watch on to see if he can lift his performance.
That first fight has put Invictus Gaming up to a 700 gold lead here right out the gate in game number 2. I love to see the teams come out swinging like this. Even after the first game didn't go their way, KT is not pulling any punches this second time around as Score makes his way towards bottom lane.
And they still have a control ward there to open this one up. I think with the positioning you can see from Deft, that simple move should signal to IG, hey, there's probably Score around. They would not want to go so aggressively without their jungler. That's why we see a little hesitation now maybe from JackeyLove and Baolan.
So Mana actually recalls there to try to see if there's a ward because he knows Rakan will walk up. Rakan walks up, Score disengages. Nice little move there. Heads up play to get information that Score wouldn't be getting a lane gank off in that scenario.
Ning just backing up here in the top side. Smeb chills in the brush for a second to make sure he leaves. And these guys will go back to farming.
Also note, this ward in the side brush, TheShy learned from the first game where there was a wraparound gank through the side brush of the lane from Score to punish him around this 5-6 minute mark. Now, we know that he's bottom, but TheShy is covering his bases, right? Doesn't want to die the same way.
But speaking of dying the same way, it's the same play coming out from KT that happened in game number 1. Deft's going to be taken very low. JackeyLove down below 100. He's taken out by Ucal. Shy's into the middle of the fight. Decimating smash down to 2 as Wind becomes lightning and slays Score. Ucal's going to be dropping next. And KT are destroyed in this fight. Shy goes underneath the turret. He'll soak one more shot. Smeb's going to be taken down. A double kill over to Rookie. And IG find the near ace.
IG aren't done yet either. They have 4 members around the bottom turret. No, here we go.
Oh my goodness, it's Ning coming around on the flank to clean it up.
That's just a domination by IG. The ults weren't up at the start of the fight, but they have the AoE crowd control from Sion and Galio, and they're punished. Blows open the game.
KT trying to go toe-to-toe with Invictus Gaming in the early stages and getting trounced in back-to-back games. Now, this might be a loss. I mean, let's look at this Acer Predator replay at the bottom lane. You said it, Captain Flowers, exact same play. Game number 1, KT Rolster smashed them, and they take the victory. But game number 2, completely different story.
The assertive teleports from Rookie and TheShy are so important on the back end. The double taunt just completely ravages the fight, and then it's just front to back for the side of IG.
Yep, charges right down the middle there from TheShy. He's tanking the turret on the way out, allowing the other 3 members here of IG to pick off the last member, and then they call it off. They look like they're going to go back to the turret, and Deft just decided to walk back in. Ning just happened to have very good timing finding him there, thinking that Deft was going to sneak back over for some experience.
It's definitely some good research, because often Korean AD carries will just watch, see everyone fully disengage, and think, okay, I'll get this big minion wave. It'll get me closer to my item. That was, of course, what went through the mind of Deft and was well punished by Ning.
IG is a mean, lean League of Legends machine in game number 2 right now. They have adapted so well from what KT did in game number 1. You mentioned the warding thing top side. That, along with now being able to adapt to that play bottom side, this team is 2,000 gold ahead, not even 8 minutes into the match, and KT just seems lost.
Worlds in Korea again, and the LCK teams are going to have to work hard this year. Invictus Gaming already putting the #1 seed to the test. Infernal Drake should also go their way as Ning uses the bottom lane damage to finish off the objective.
And remember, this is KT. This is the #1 LCKC. This is the team that was looking so ferocious during the first round robin of groups play. Still looked very strong despite dropping a game to EDG in the second round robin. And a lot of people are considering them the best hope for Korea here.
But then on the side for KT Rolster, you have to talk about scaling and the fact that we talked about how this team comp is supposed to play out. It's supposed to be proactive like they were able to do in game number 1. And you make those same attempts to 2v1 or 2v2 with such big item leads are going to be drawn on the side of IG. Another 2-0 Zhao, but this one, of course, is on the side of IG. Then potentially you go into an even bigger hole that will be very hard to get out of.
Yeah, Ning also has Flash, has the level 6 available, and really taking control, moving in some IG vision to try and remove some of the options for Score getting back into the game. He's trying to camp on some of these Scuttle Crabs, though. The mark is on Gromp, so not going to be able to start stacking that one up, and Ning might be a little bit too late.
Ning not only has his Flash and his level 6, he has a Galio that is more than happy to heroically assist anytime he decides it's time to go after the KT roster, as Smeb will sidestep the roar, tank a little bit of damage on the smash, not too worried about it. He is winning this lane in CS, as you would expect Urgot to do, but
TheShy has a sheep. He's looking for trading. This man loves his carries, and he's going to want to take some aggressive trades. It may be Iceborne Gauntlet. It's going to be coming out of TheShy. You can take the man away from carries, but the carry mindset never leaves you, Kobe.
I actually smiled as soon as they got it as well, because he's taking grasp on Sion. So you stack up some extra health there, you stack up some extra health with your W, and he's going, you know what?
Don't need to build it.
Health.
Don't even need to build it.
So he's going to go with the Iceborne Gauntlet. Looks to be the case. And with how well IG started in the early game, definitely don't refute that one. So looks like they should be able to secure bottom side now, as we have Ning once again trying to go support the lovers duo here with some extra vision, some extra pressure.
He'll move down, he'll walk over a control ward, so KT's aware of what's going on down here. We'll see how well they play around it, as Score will also show up towards this fight, places the control ward over the wall towards that red buff brush, just to make sure nobody else is coming around from that direction as TheShy goes into the trade. There's the Sheen damage. That's what you get for buying that extra trading power. One more decimating smash. He might go for the end. Smeb's actually taking a lot of damage from this. Has to flash away from TheShy's ulti. Now thinking about turning things back around. Shy very low on mana here. Smeb's still looking to find more. Nice flash away from TheShy.
Good flashes from both of them. It's not done yet, though. Smeb with the slow, trying to chase him down.
Smeb is bloodthirsty. One more shotgun knee is not enough, and both will just barely get them.
Honestly, people make fun of trading on champions like this so often. You know, Sion and Urgot fairly beefy, but that was one of the most exciting, you know, trades of quote-unquote these tankier champions that we see there, and very important flashes on the ultimates from both players.
But actually, a lot of the action was happening on the minimap. Previously, we were seeing Zhao walk up and clear the tri-brush of a vision, put down a control ward. They also had control of the bot side river, and Galio walks down. So KT had to vacate their bot side and do lose first turret blood at about 10 minutes.
Exactly.
For the first time.
And that is huge for Invictus Gaming. They swap JackeyLove and Baolan up to the top side first here. They have the momentum because Smeb is still there on Urgot trying to hold by himself, but seeing them in lane now causing the recall and the delayed swap, this could be very detrimental for KT Rolster.
But for once, we get to see their reactive macro, because as Captain Flowers identifies, it's taken their 8th time on the Rift to see them not have a first turret lead and thus not be able to force the enemy to respond to their lane assignment. So now we're going to see KT trying to lose the minimum and IG controlling the first play more often than not.
And this is the rockiest early game we've seen from KT Rolster. In their group stage games, they had a positive gold advantage around the 20-minute mark in every single game. Of course, there were a couple fluctuations early on, none as big as what you're seeing so far in this game, 3,500 gold. And even in the game they lost, it wasn't until around 23, 24 minutes that things turned the way of EDG. So now we really have to see what this team can do when put on the back foot early.
There was a bit of desperation, it felt like, with the secondary engage that led to the 5 kills. Remember, KT are laning with a Leona who wants to go aggressive wherever possible, and losing vision there against a Galio. There's many many reasons here that KT can't play their normal game plan, and IG already onto this Rift Herald.
Yeah, important continued focus here for IG on the objectives. This one in sight, and it looks like KT are gonna fight it.
Lana tries to go into the flash Zenith Blade onto JackeyLove, won't be able to find it. Ning and Baolan still trying to finish off that Rift Herald. They will be able to take it down. Ning gonna stop the damage for now using the ulti. There goes Baolan, he's able to find the entrance. Deft's already gonna be gone, and IG will wipe them from the river.
IG just destroying KT Rolster. They look like they're gonna destroy this whole series with the way it's going.
There's almost no coming back from this level of lead. 11-2, 5,000 plus gold. Goodbye mid lane turret. Maybe goodbye KT Rolster, at least in game number 2.
This is the most kills IG have had pre-15 minutes in Worlds, and it's against KT Rolster. They are putting on a clinic today.
Having the title of tournament favorite has been a curse this year at Worlds. Invictus Gaming really taking it to them.
And this is the Invictus Gaming of the regular season that very often went one match loss, and from there just swept through lesser teams. They're making KT Rolster in 2 games look like a lesser team. KT continue to try to fight. They get JackeyLove out of the fight very early, but the turn here from IG is magnificent.
Yeah, look at the cooldowns that they got already. So many ultimates up, but Baolan makes the call on this Rakan. And the Rakan Galio combo absolutely incredible in this river fight. There was almost no reaction there from KT Rolster. Very nice charm into Knouckout, into the heroic entrance, and that was enough time they needed.
That was just beautiful synergy from IG, knowing exactly what to do and how to do it, as now they sit at 6,000 gold lead, 15 minutes into the game. This team has taken so much control over this game. KT's just praying for a mistake right now, but IG does not look like they're gonna make one.
And now usually you turn to your analysts and say, how do KT get back in this game? But we're kind of at the point where we say, maybe don't make those mistakes you did earlier. They have Leona, they have Engage, they have a comp that moves forward. They're gonna try and outnumber. How will this go?
Let's see if they can find the damage down to Rookie. He's very tanky. He's gonna be flipped right back around. Shut down now. KT's able to find themselves one. Ning gonna be taken low. Scores now into trouble. Knocked up into the air. Baolan's finding multiple people here with the quickness. The root comes through. The damage goes down, but the shutdown goes over to KT. It's 2-0.
And Smeb even lives just when they need it. KT Rolster have a little bit of life.
And this is something that IG will do. They always want to fight. They're gonna fight now.
They're going right back in, even though they've already lost 2 members. We'll see what they can find. Looking to find the damage down onto that enemy support. They'll get that one, but can they get out alive? Ning goes over the wall, trying to run away, but Deft is there with the mop and bug, gonna take him down. Shutdown credit over onto that enemy jungler. It's a double kill for the Rakan. Smeb still in the front line. He does not know the meaning of retreat until Sion teaches him the hard way, as Rookie's coming around from behind. And this is gonna be a hell of a rude awakening if he can find that taunt. Deft has almost no mana left for this fight. Rookie still looking to maybe find some more. Smeb down to 1/4 HP. Initiation onto Ucal, who immediately goes into the stasis. Smeb is evaporated as Ucal will slightly sidestep that decimating smash, but he'll still be decimated.
And that's the ultra best case scenario for KT, was starting a fight like this outnumbered, getting some kills, but by the end the gold lead was very apparent. It wasn't exactly a decimation of KT, but it was just about as close as could be.
KT Rolster got what they wanted early, finishing off the kill, but then the hammer comes crashing down as IG respond. Here's a look at how they started it all off. They're just committing everybody to try and get a pick somewhere on the map to open up a way back in this game. And they do finish off Rookie very early on.
And then from there, it's a nice use of the ultimate by Score. They're turning on to members. When Deft comes for the backup, you might think this was going to be a win. And if they stopped here, that was just a straight-up win for the side of KT. But KT keep pushing forward. And IG know that with teleport on Rookie and a 10-second depth timer, there's a chance they can turn this around if it goes long enough.
Yeah, TheShy did a good job of separating KT into 2 parts there so Ning could get the kill. Then he walks by here through Fog of War. Deft is able to follow that one up, but actually the re-engage from Smeb, very ill-advised, considering how tanky TheShy is and the possible teleport from Rookie. Rookie died so early, he gets to actually finish this fight, even though it started with a 3v1 taking him down.
He tried to come in the most proactive way, wasn't able to, a bit scuffed on the first attempt of the engage, but there's no turret here, there's no full disengage. available for KT. And when you fall behind a hard engaged comp that's so tanky, the problem is that even if you outnumber Kobe, even if you do find the 3v1, it takes so long that some of those cashed up members of IG will eventually show up and eventually punish you.
There's some numbers for you based on what I was talking about earlier. The lowest deficit, and I use that in air quotes, that KT suffered in groups at 15 minutes was a measly 300 gold ahead of their opponents. Now they're 6,000 gold behind. IG has just completely dominated this game. KT, yes, they found a couple of kills in the last fight, but overstaying and allowing that counterattack proved to not really gain them much ground. As you can see, IG has taken over the map. They've got the wards down all throughout the top side of the KT jungle. They're pushing onto the tier 2 turrets. It's 4 turrets to 0. It's 2 drakes to 0. It's 15 kills to 5. Any metric you want to count this game by, unless it's gold deficit, IG's winning.
This world showing that advantage goes to the proactive teams. If you're willing to start it out, you often can carve out your own future.
And KT have been trying to do that, Kobe, but not executing. That execution part is just as important as the aggressive mindset. The reason why they keep throwing themselves is, like we were getting to just before that fight broke out, their comp really only excels with engage, going proactive. They don't really have light at the end of the tunnel, barring some amazing 6-item outplays by a Kaisa. And we're not getting to 6 items too often at Worlds 2018, so they keep trying to find some gold, to find some footholds, and keep getting clapped down.
And it really has come down to execution. I mean, both teams opted in to the level 2 3v3 fight around bottom lane. Teams keep opting in to these giant fights so early in the game, but Invictus Gaming have done it better over and over.
And now Baron is on the map. 20 minutes in means that is a potential reward for another big team fight win if IG can find it. TheShy going up there thinking about maybe stealing away a blue buff, but can't quite do it. KT tries to sweep away some of this vision in their jungle, but for every ward you kill, IG places down 2 more. They're that far ahead. They've got disposable income, and it's going into vision.
And it's so clear in terms of items. 2 items and then some to 1.5 on the side of KT. The people who are walking up to try to contest vision are too tanky to be bursted, and there's no Rage Blade once again on the Kaisa. Deft has found kills on Kaisa a couple of games in a row, but then the game is largely decided before the Kaisa gets a core down. And speaking of deciding games, this Baron's dying fast.
IG say, hey, they're so scared of us. They're so stuck in their base. Why not just rush this down? There's no contest from KT. That's free Baron at 21 minutes.
We need to give out some individual awards here, because especially Baolan, most improved from the group stage. His Rakan absolutely critical for Invictus Gaming in these 2 games so far. He has 14 out of 15 kill participation this time around, and the speed of the Rakan engage and the accuracy of it has been critical.
It's kind of been surreal, especially as a longtime fan of KT or Korea as a fan, to listen in on the idea that IG are this really high-tempo team in the early game, that they're taking a lot of risks, that there's the potential that KT will be the control team that should win out in a lot of roles, because KT and IG really, if you think about their identity, aren't that different. KT are also a momentum team, also a team that may have won a best of 5, but it went all 5 games against Griffin. They had to come from behind in that game. So KT Rolster, the desperation was all over their plays in this game number 2, trying to make it a 1-1 series, and IG have just been able to cement their leads. And speaking of cementing,
it's Sion coming in to put these guys in the cement if he can. TheShy starting things off. There goes Baolan, able to find the quickness on to 2. Galio making a heroic entrance, juggling Swain around. JackeyLove takes him down, and Mod is likely going to be next. Score runs away. Smeb runs away. They're still trying to find more. TheShy finally falls. Ning's taken low, but IG's still only lost 1. They'll look to go even further as TheShy's passive rampages into the back lines. Inhibitor number 1 is down, and IG rotates it up to mid.
Yep, they're not done yet. They should be able to reset, though. There's 15 seconds on Ucal. It looks like they want to get the turret before he respawns and try and recall after that.
The winds of war nearly killing Mana. Smeb going in, looking to start this fight off. That's what they needed. Deft goes on a killing spree, and Jackie's out of the picture. They need to find more to have any sort of a chance at making something big happen. TP coming in, Rookie walking away, NIG will disengage.
All KT can find is a single kill, the Baron being won for a minute and a half more. It does nothing to arrest a 10,000 gold lead. 10,000 gold lead, 2 Infernals and Baron, and TheShy says, we're still playmaking, and goes straight for the turret dive.
Yeah, big flank from TheShy on the side, just trying to start the team fight, and they're actually between the turrets. So you see the focus here from Invictus Gaming. They actually focus the Swain, take him down immediately, and then completely split the team here. But yes, TheShy does go down, but he can get back up as Zombie.
And he has so many other big beefy boys in the front. This meat grinder comp can continue to turret dive. KT go all in for a pick and do find it onto the Xayah, but that's not going to be accentuated with any further kills.
Yeah, JackeyLove looked like he was trying to walk away for a good 2 seconds there, got stuck on a creep and couldn't get around it. TheShy happened to throw him over his shoulder, but that's just one kill, kind of a drop in the bucket as you're mentioning, and it's an easy reset after that for Invictus Gaming.
Invictus Gaming, 10,000 gold, 3 Drakes, 7 turrets.
And a partridge
in a pear tree. They got everything they could ask for. This team has nothing left to do but just send it home as KT will dig those heels in one last time and try to see if they can defend against this. IG are in such a fantastic spot. It's going to be nigh impossible barring a major error from the side of Invictus Gaming, and honestly, from a team that looked shaky on their last day, from a team that lost the tiebreakers to Fnatic, and there were some questions about how they would perform going forward. They look like they have done a wonderful amount of preparation during the couple days they had.
There was definitely a lot of doubt after their games versus Fnatic, but a resounding answer here from IG and a lot of success. Let's see if they can actually finish up and crack inside these last 2 turrets. They do have super minions that are about to go inside KT's base, so time definitely working against KT Rolster here.
Baron has expired, but it does not matter. Ning gonna jump onto the turret first. Shy goes in with the ulti, looking to find decimating smash.
Oh!
There's Baolan! Here comes your Galio ulti! Slam! Dog going to 5! Redemption is there. Smeb is taken down. Get rid of everybody from KT, says Invictus Gaming. They've claimed the base. They don't need the ace. They've got this game. And those Nexus turrets will quickly fall to rubble. IG will take KT to game point, and they look monstrous.
What a space jam there coming through from Rookie. The Nexus explodes, and KT Rolster will have to reverse sweep to remain in this series as IG look indomitable in terms of game number 1 and game number 2.
IG with success, and they have done it so quick here. Already we face match points for a semi-final spot for Invictus Gaming.
Let's go back to like day 1 of group stage, when on the desk the question was posed, who do you take to win, RNG, KT, or the field, encompassing every single other team? KT was a team considered so good coming into this that they were one of the 2 options that was considered equal to 14 other teams. And now one of those 14 teams says you get one more shot. Well, that's incredible.
Let's talk about also those days where everything seems so clear. This Worlds has shown us that almost all of our prep very quickly was being ripped up, and the field's looking pretty good, Captain Flowers. That's all I can say.
Well, Invictus are on the verge of sweeping KT, and to hopefully explain how it's come to this, let's send it over to those analysts.
Thank you very much. I love watching your faces try and make sense of the current result here in this best of 5 as Invictus Gaming moves to 2-0, a dominant victory over KT here. We need to remind ourselves they stuck on red side, so we did have both teams essentially running it back, and there were a lot of questions around what would be the adjustments out of KT this time forward.
Now, we did have adjustments in that the Urgot was the priority pick, but just before we even dive into the draft, I just have to say, like, this is so mind-boggling to me because IG are winning in ways that they normally don't win. This is TheShy on a tank player. This is Baolan, one of their weakest players, as a pretty much an MVP frontrunner on that Rakan, and it's the fact that they're not using counter pick on red side to win.
So not the players we expect to carry who's carrying in this game. However, the style they're winning, to me, is very IG normal style in the game itself, where it's just all team fights.
Yeah, they're finding fights. The fact they had basically an RNG team comp here where they got a
beef wall in the front line and then a Xayah Rakan in the bot. And I want to pull up the bot lane fight that really broke this game open, and it was familiar because in the first game, there was a move that was very similar to this one, but this time they double TP in. This is actually the game 2 play. This is actually game 2 not here, the game 1 play. To clarify. So the point is, in the first game, they didn't teleport in. In the second game, they double teleport in to turn the tides on them, because this is actually where KT got a lot of the advantages in the early game. But this time, it was obviously IG that get the huge edge.
It is very interesting, though, how KT, for this game specifically, after losing game 1 through these team fights in the mid lane, they said, screw everything we normally do. We don't want to play slow anymore. We don't want to try and get a numbers advantage before we make a play. Take the brain, leave it over here, go into the game and say, IG, you want to brawl in the early game? We will brawl against you. So they took every fight like this. Kindred was level 3 when this fight started. Deals no damage in the early game. They used all the abilities on one player. So when all the other IG members show up, there was no damage left. That's why they could turn around so quickly and just destroy them. And this happened again and again and again.
It did, but I also think about the way that KT plays, specifically Mata, and he bluffs so much in the bottom lane. Like, we think back to the group stage, he was headbutting the walls at level 1, he was opting into every level 2, and he instilled fear on the opponents. He was doing the same things this game, it's just it wasn't working. Right? IG was matching it. They had the better early game jungler down there in this situation because of the extremely high priority they put on Zhao in the draft phase, and it just kept working for him.
Yeah, IG calling KT on their own strategy. I do want to push us forward to one more fight. Happened around the Rift Herald, and it's crazy to me that a pre-15-minute fight I can essentially call the game-deciding fight.
Yeah, and we're pausing this one now because we want to ask the question, what can KT do here? Because in their mind, they've just used Mata's ulti to force JackeyLove to use his ulti and also flash away. And at this point, if you actually want to take an effective fight, Ucal needs to just get straight towards Baolan and Ning, because otherwise, they will just turn around. And here's where the Rakan pick, for me, actually becomes the MVP, because when we roll the clip, you will just notice how he spots Deft standing a bit on his own, and he instantly calls, guys, we can go for this guy. Martin ends up standing next to him as well, and this engage gets 3-member charmed, 2 members knocked up, and then a Galio ult. And because this composition has so much engage and they're so quick, they can just destroy KT. I think the only way for KT after they blow the Leona ult is just try and go into the pit, otherwise run away. Don't take the 4v4.
Well, Baolan right there, your MasterCard player of the game, absolutely stepping up. Again, top of the day, we said the biggest mismatch, Mata versus Baolan. And he's got something to say about that today.
And Baolan and JackeyLove, they've been a formidable 2v2 in the LPL, but Baolan has been one of the weaker members of Invictus Gaming across the lineup, is the weakest member. So for him to have a turnaround performance like this, it's just mind-boggling. This is also his first time going international. You know, outside of Rift Rivals, which was played in China, he has never left the country to compete. So we talk about how JackeyLove is the rookie that maybe he might have nerves. Baolan is right there next to him. You know, there's no veteran voice in that roster to ground it.
Double Rakan games, didn't get to play, you know, he didn't look good when he had to play the Leona matchup against Fnatic, against the Rakan specifically. To me, a change going into the next game, if you are KT, is that Rakan pick, because it's too good for IG right now to force engages on Deft.
Yeah, and I think when we're asking where does KT go from here, what I think has happened in the first 2 games is IG has given draft priority to the jungle and the bot lane, which are their weaker players, and KT has given draft priority to try and target the solo lanes, right? They've thrown 4 and 5 mid lane bans at Rookie, and Rookie has still had dominant performances. So you can't slow down Rookie, right? I actually think they have to drop a good number of their mid lane bans, spend draft resources on getting the jungler or the support for IG onto bad positions, and maybe they can go from there, because this Rookie versus Ucal matchup, we were talking about, would 17-year-old Ucal be able to match up against the best mid-lane laner in the world? The answer has been emphatically no so far. So you need to try and get Ucal on a more comfortable pick.
I have some information that might make you all quite angry. Moving into game 3,
Duke,
KT has elected to stay on blue side with no substitutions. So match point, and KT is willing to say, we'll never go to red if IG is able to pick up this game here. What are your thoughts, one, on the change itself, or rather the decision itself, and then given the decision, accepting the decision, how should they use it more effectively this time than they have in the first 2 games?
I mean, either you change up your bans or you change up your priority pick. It felt like the adjustment was prioritizing the Urgot over the Aatrox because they figured it was going to be the 5v5. Unfortunately, the game really snowballed before Urgot was able to have a strong 5v5. Or I think they either ban the Rakan or they priority pick the Rakan. Is personally what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, actually, I'm not too shocked with them picking blue because IG are not counter-picking solo laners, which was supposed to be the big deal about red side for them 2 games in a row now. So they probably say, you know what, with our first pick, as long as we get rid of Rakan, we don't have to first pick it, we can still take the Urgot and have a strong team fight. I think that will slow down IG a lot because they're really using this engage so well.
Yeah, and I also just want to say that IG right now, this is the IG that they wanted to show when they barely lost that spring split playoff match to RNG. It's with TheShy, it's brawly from the start, it's the 38-2 in the regular season IG that's trying to prove to the world that they are legit.
They want to meet him again in the semis.
It's a huge redemption story. I mean, this is the road home for Rookie. He chose to leave the LCK to come to the LPL and prove that he made the right call. So showing up semifinals, taking down the LCK's first seed, just says #worth to Rookie.
He left
One
KT, now he's
game
first,
away from doing it. Exactly right. MasterCard, Riot Games' first global sponsor, found fans who made the trip from China to support the LPL teams. And that kind of dedication made them today's MasterCard fans of the day. Tong, BU, Zhuhong, and Yibin all got seat upgrades and world swag as they cheer on Invictus and RNG in their series today. They get that doubleheader of LPL teams. Ooh. Invictus Gaming are on the verge of sweeping the LCK #1 seed. It's time to see if KT Rolster can put together a comeback victory when we return.